A very good morning to all of you. So, students, before starting our chapter, I would like to share the marking scheme of an examination of a CA intermediate examination. You all know that 100 mark paper will be coming in your CA intermediate examination, and this 100 marks, 60% will be covered by your income tax codes. 60% will be covered by income tax, and the balance 40% will be covered by our indirect taxes, that is goods and service tax, which is popularly known as GST. GST, which means goods and service tax. But students, we are starting from this 60% portion first. After covering the 60% portion, which contains your income tax provisions for your examination, we will cover balance 40%, that is GST. Okay, but students, there is a problem. What is the issue? Before starting any of the topic, that is income tax or GST, first of all, you need to understand what is the meaning of tax. What is the meaning of tax? Whether it is direct tax, that is income tax, or whether it is indirect tax, that is GST for your syllabus. So students, have you any idea what is a tax? No idea? Let me tell you. Because let's see students. Tax is a fees. Tax is a share, tax is a fees which is charged by government on your products, on some activities, on or your income. But now the question comes, why are they charging fees from us? Why are they doing so? So students, there is a very basic simple answer for this, and the answer is the tax is revenue for government. Tax is revenue for government. Tax is revenue for government. If you want, you can write this phrase. Tax is a revenue for government. Now the question comes, why are they charging revenue from us? Students, have you ever seen, did the roads which are making outside your home, have they ever come to you and said to you that, yeah, Mr. Ray, we are making a road outside your home, so please give us money? No, they never said this. What they do is, they collect tax from you, and then they always spend this tax in the favor of you, by the way of giving you some infrastructure facilities, or by way of making dams, by way of making roads, bridges. So this is the revenue for government. This is the basic source of revenue for government. If they do not charge tax from you, how will they spend this money for you? How will they get this money to spend for you? For example, students, you will commonly know that they provide us educational facilities. They provide us free educational facilities in the form of government schools, where they charge no fees or very nominal fees, or they provide medical facilities in the form of government hospital. So for spending all these amounts, they need some revenue, they need some fees, and they charge that fees from you. But how? They charge that fees in the form of taxes from you. Understand? Now the next question comes, that who charge this tax? Can your best friend charge this tax from you? No, only and only government charges tax. Okay, now students, let's discuss what is the meaning of tax. I have already written here for you. Tax is a fees which is charged by a government on a product, income, or activity. On a product, income, or activity. Okay, now the next question comes, that what are the types of taxes? So students, basically there are two types of taxes. The first one is direct tax. The first one is direct tax, and the second one is indirect tax. The first one is direct tax, and the second one is indirect tax. Now the question comes, what is the meaning of direct and indirect? Direct tax means which government charges straightly from you, with governments taking straightly from you, not from any third person. But indirect tax means that they are taking money, they are taking fees from you, but not straightly or not directly in the form of yourself. They are not taking directly from you that, yeah, Mr. A, please give us tax. No, what they are doing is, some other person is charging tax on you, and then they collect your tax from that person. A little bit confusing. Let me explain you. So firstly, I am explaining you direct taxes. In the direct tax, there is a popularly known tax as income tax. Let's see, student. Direct tax contains two types of taxes. The first one is income tax, and the second one is tax on undisclosed foreign income and assets. In your syllabus, income tax will be covered. So firstly, we will discuss about income tax. Then we will cover about tax on undisclosed foreign income and assets. Only it's basic. Okay. So students, what is the meaning of income tax? Income tax, all the persons must listen this word, income tax. What is the income tax? Income tax means when government charges tax directly on the part of your income. What they are doing is, they directly tells you that if you are earning some income, we are charging particular percentage a particular percentage in the form of tax on your income. They are not saying that we are charging this tax from a third person and you need to pay tax to that. No, they are, for example, you are Mr. A. They directly tells you that, yeah, Mr. A, you are earning so much income, you are earning that part of income, and you need to pay this percentage from your income. For example, if you are earning 10 lakh, if you are earning 10 lakh, on this 10 lakh you need to spend a particular percentage of your income in the form of taxes. You need to give this you need to give this part of your income in the form of taxes to the government. Okay, now the next important question in income tax comes that, students, why you earn income? Why anyone earn income? Why anyone earn income? The basic purpose to earn income is to satisfy our basic needs. Very What are the basic needs? Food, water supply, electricity, that's what. So what the government do is, if they directly tells you that if you are earning money, whether you are earning money 10,000 or whether you are earning money 1 lakh, you have to pay tax. There is no need to there is no choice for you. You have to pay tax whether you are earning so much low income, whether you are earning so much high income, whether you are earning 1 crore rupees, you have to pay tax. That will be unfair now, very much unfair. Why it is unfair? For example, let's suppose there are two persons. First one is Mr. A, second one is Mr. B. Mr. A is earning 10 lakh per annum. Per annum means per year. Okay, in a year, Mr. A is earning rupees 10 lakhs, and Mr. B is earning very low amount. How much? He is earning only 15,000 per annum. He's earning only 15,000 per annum. So is it okay, is it fair if government tells them that, yes, uh, within this 15,000, from this 15,000 amount you have to pay 10% of your income, that is you have to pay 1,500 rupees as income tax? No. If they do this, then how does Mr. B, how will be Mr. B able to incur his basic needs, will be able to satisfy his basic needs? He will not be able to satisfy his basic needs. So that's us. So for this purpose, what government do is, they said that they form some slab rates. They form some slab rates. Slab rate means that, for example, they say that a person earning up to rupees 2,50,000 has to pay nil of taxes. Means he has to pay no taxes to the government. Why they said that person earning up to rupees 2,50,000 has to pay no taxes? Because they understand that a person earning so much low amount has to first satisfy his own basic needs. Then only he can give his share to the government in the form of taxes. That's why they said that a person earning up to rupees 2,50,000 has to pay no taxes to the government. This is what is known as exemption limit. Okay, and this form, students, they form some slab rate that a person earning up to rupees 5 lakh has to pay 5% of his income as income tax. And in this manner, this slab rate continues, which we will discuss in the later in this chapter. Okay, now I think you understand the basic concept of income tax, that what is the income tax. Now student, the next question comes, what is indirect taxes? And student, there's another important question in this direct taxes, is that direct taxes are on a progressive basis. Direct taxes are on progressive basis. Progressive basis means that a person earning high income has to pay high rate of taxes, and a person earning low income has to pay low rates of tax. Means when income is progressing, your taxes will be progressed accordingly, and if your income is not progressing, your taxes will be not progressing in respect of that. Okay. Now next question comes about indirect taxes, that what are GST, what is indirect taxes. So let's take an example. For example, uh, you all I think you all have your mobile now. You all have your cell phone. So suppose you are going to market. You go to market and purchase a cell phone of costing rupees 10,000, of price rupees 10,000. You normally hear that this 10,000 price, someone must be tell you that 10,000 price. You ask them that it is inclusive of GST or exclusive of GST. So what this means, that 10,000 contains the part of taxes, that is indirect tax or not. if they tell you that 10,000 is not containing that part of tax, this means the 10,000 is exclusive of GST. It is not inclusive of GST. Now the question comes, what is this GST? So in GST means goods and service tax. GST means goods and service tax. It means when you consume some goods, when you purchase any goods, or when you take some services, you have to pay GST on that, that you have to pay some part of tax on that. But now the question comes, why it is indirect tax, why it is not direct tax? Let's see, student. When you purchase it 10,000 costing rupees 10,000 mobile, suppose it has a 12% GST rate. Okay, now you will give 10,000 into 12% is equals to 1,200 amount to your shopkeeper as GST. Are you paying this 1,200 amount to directly to government? Never. What you are doing is you are paying this 1,200 amount to your shopkeeper, from whom you are purchasing this mobile, and then the shopkeeper will give this amount of rupees 1,200 to your government, to our government. That's why it is known as indirect taxes. Why it is indirect taxes? Let's see, students. There are three parties involved in it. Mr. B is a shopkeeper. Suppose you are Mr. A and our government, supreme government. Okay. So what is this doing is you are purchasing mobile from Mr. B, that is shopkeeper. You are paying rupees 1,200 to shopkeeper, not to government. Government is indirectly taking this money from you, because this 1,200 is only belonging to you. That is, you are giving this to shopkeeper, but they are not saying that, yeah, Mr. A comes to us and give this 1,200 rupees to us, like you're doing income tax, that you give direct to the government. But here you are giving it to shopkeeper, and then shopkeeper on your behalf give it to government. That is why this is indirect tax. Indirect tax means that you are paying the tax amount to government, but not directly. They are not charging directly that amount from you. They are charging that amount in an indirect way. You have to give to shopkeeper or to the service provider, and then that shopkeeper or service provider will give this amount to the government. That is why it is known as indirect tax, not direct tax. Okay. Now, students, in indirect taxes, there are two kinds of taxes. In indirect taxes, there are two kinds of taxes. The first one is GST. That is goods and service tax. We will read about in detail about this topic, but here is only basic concepts of your chapter. Okay. Next, first one is GST, and the second one is custom duty. So for custom duty, you will read in final CA, final level, about this custom duty. Here I am giving you in basic concept, basic overview about custom duty and what is custom duty for your practical knowledge. Okay. So students, when you import some goods or services from outside the country, when you import something, you have to pay custom duty, or when you export something, it means on import or export. That is, on import or export, that is, when you are crossing the national boundaries, you have to pay some taxes in the form of custom duty. It is so much sufficient for you. You need not to worry about this custom duty. You will read about in detail in CA final about this. Okay, we will study about in detail in CA final about this. Now, students, for GST, I have written down an example here. Suppose you are seller of PlayStation. You sell a PlayStation to Temu, charging rupees 15,000, and you said that there is a 2,700 of GST in it. It means you are charging 15,000 plus 2,700, means you are charging total 17,700 from Temu. But this 15,000 you will receive it, but but for this 2,700 you have a liability to pay this to government. You have to pay this to government. You cannot keep this amount in your pockets. That is why it is an indirect tax. You charge this amount from Temu, but you are giving it to government. This amount is of Temu, but you are giving it to government. That is why it is known as indirect tax. Clear? Now, as a seller, you will file your GST return and pay this tax of 2,700 to government. In eyes of law, you are taxpayer, but in actually, you passes on the incidence of tax to Temu. What government is saying? That, yeah, this Mr. B, the shopkeeper, is paying taxes to us, but in actual, you are not paying taxes. this 2700 belongs to Temur and Temur is paying taxes to government. That's why it is an indirect tax. Okay, so if in multiple choice question this question comes that what is direct tax, what is indirect tax, and they give you some examples in MCQ, it may be possible that they give you some example about that is it indirect tax. So I hope now you will clearly identify that what is direct tax and what is indirect tax. Okay, now if anybody have a confusion that ma'am why are you saying about multiple choice questions, so students, let's me clear. In your CA intermediate examination, the marking scheme will be your 70%, and from your 100% syllabus, from your 100% syllabus, 70% will be kind of subjective type questions come, and for balance 30% MCQ multiple choice questions will come. 70% part will be subjective and 30% part will be MCQ. Now, for example, 60 marks for 60 marks income tax will come. In the 60 marks 70% of 60 marks will be of subjective type question, and balance 30% will be of multiple choice question, that is objective type question. Okay, now the next topic is why tax is levied. I have already told you why tax is levied, students. Now just tell me why are taxes levied. You all know why are taxes levied. Why are they charging taxes from you? The only reason for levy of taxes is that they constitute the basic source of revenue to the government, because they need that revenue to spend on you in indirect or indirectly way. Okay, so revenue so raised is utilized for meeting the expenses of government like defense, provision of education. For example, they are providing government education, government institutions which for which they are charging, from which they are charging you very nominal fees, or they are sometimes charging no fees at all. Healthcare in the form of government hospitals, infrastructure facilities like they are providing you roads, they are making roads, they are making national highways, they are making dams, they are making bridges, etc. Now, students, the next question comes that who has the power to levy tax? Who knows that the government has the power to levy tax and they have to frame law? Why they are framing law? We all know that every year they are framing law. Every year, students, for your kind knowledge, every year income tax provisions will change by in the form of finance act. We will read about what is finance act. So, students, who has the power? How they come to know that the government has the power to levy this taxes from you, that they can charge taxes from you. So students, you all know now that we have our Indian constitution. Students, in our Indian constitution, students, first of all you need to learn that Indian constitution is the supreme law of India. There is no bigger law from the Indian constitution in India. Indian constitution is the supreme law, highest law of India. So students, in this Indian constitution there are several articles. There is an articles in the form of paras which contains about different laws, and there is an article number 265, which clearly states that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. What are article contains? Article number 265, it clearly mentions that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. So it means except authority of law, no one can charge you tax, or no one can collect tax from you, or no one can levy tax from you. Okay, so next time if your friend is saying that I am charging tax from you, so clearly mention that Article 265 or a Supreme Law of India, that is Indian Constitution, clearly mentions that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. Clear? So students, accordingly, as it said that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law, so every government needs to authorize a law for this taxes. Therefore every government needs to frame the law taxes. Okay, now in which form they frame the taxes, friends, they clearly mention that the parliament and state legislatures are empowered to make law on the matters enumerated in the 7th schedule by virtue of Article 246 of Constitution of India. Now students, Article 265 clearly states that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. But now the question comes, what is this authority of law? What is the authority of law? Who has the authority to make this law? So students, for this question, answer is written in the article number 246 of our Indian Constitution. It clearly mentions that the parliament and state legislatures of India have empowered to make the laws on the matters. Okay, now students, what is that? How this constitution frames, how this Indian constitution about taxes frame? So students, our Indian constitution has three lists. Three lists. What are those three lists? The first list is union list. Union list. Second list is state list, and the third list is concurrent list. So it's actually what happens is when our Indian Constitution Article number 265 clearly mentions that no tax can be collected except by authority of law. Now there are so many authorized governments in our India. For example, there are different state governments. There are central government. There are parliament. Their local authorities. Now the question comes, which matters will be enumerated, which taxes will be formed by central government, which law will be formed by our state government, which law will be formed by our local authority, etc., etc. So for the answer of this, they said that there are three lists in our Indian constitution. What are those three lists? The first is union list. Union list, all the matters which are enumerated, that is which are mentioned in this union list, will be legalized by only and only by parliament. So parliament has the exclusive power. What is the meaning of exclusive? It means the only power. Parliament has the only and only power to make laws on the matters contained in union list. And students, luckily, in fact luckily, our income tax matter, has also contained in this union list. Our that's why parliament has the only power to make laws on the income tax. Okay, no state government can make any law on the matter of income tax. Only and only parliament has the power to make law about our income tax. Now you know why parliament has the only power for this, because this income tax matter is enumerated in the list union list, and all those methods which are mentioned in this union list has the exclusive power by parliament, that only parliament can make law on that. Okay, so students, now the next list is state list. All the matters which are enumerated in the state list, the legislature of any state has the exclusive power to make laws on the matters contained in the state list. Okay, but now students, the third list is concurrent list. All the matters which are enumerated in the concurrence list. So students, both parliament and state legislatures have the power. It means parliament also have the power to make law on the matter contained in the concurrence list, and our state legislatures also have the power to make laws on the matters contained in the concurrence list. Now, very very important question for your examination. Income tax comes under which list? So income tax comes under union list. In fact students, in this union list, there is the entry number 82. Entry number 82, which contains about income tax. Okay, so students, for now, just revise these topics which we have discussed here. After that, you will done the revision of this topic. We will move further for the balance part of the chapter. Okay.